it's something that it's one of those actions that going into 2026 you should be doing more of. Hey, it's Clay, and welcome to the Follow Through, where we talk business, your business. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, we're live on Facebook, and you can also catch every episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. All right, let's get right into it. Enjoy the show. Hey, good morning, everybody. I know I've shared this before, but today was an awesome day for somebody who kind of inspired me to start doing this and kind of sharing with everybody, hoping to, provide value with them. And today I met Bob Turner. I met him in Memphis in October, I believe. I was fortunate enough to go down there and kind of share some of my communications and all that automation and CRM stuff with some awesome people down there. And he was doing this. I was like, what are you doing? And he kind of shared with me what he was doing and told me his whole story. And many of you might know Bob about his whole, doing it every day and how he was supposed to do it every day, but he started doing it every day. And today was an awesome day for him. He hit 365 days. So awesome job, Bob. That's awesome. What great commitment. And I plan on doing the same. Not doing it every day, because he told me every day. I was like, man, that is a lot. So, all right. So let's kind of wrap up this week and unravel this last gift. And I think, ever get a gift during times you open, you're like, oh, I wasn't as surprised as I thought I would be, but it's something that you really wanted or really needed or have been just wanting to have. And it's not like, oh, wow. It's not like an aha moment, but it's something that you just needed to hear again. I think today unwrapping this gift is going to kind of give you that feeling. It's definitely not like a secret. It's not something that you're going to be like, oh, I've never thought of that before. But it's something that it's one of those actions that going into 2026, you should be doing more of. And before I actually even talk about that, let's kind of go back and just touch on the last two that we talked about. Because on Monday, we talked about emailing and how important that is, and really just changing your mindset of what an email actually is. Instead of it being salesy, use it as a way to build trust and just build relationships versus being salesy, like, hey, buy this. And that's really kind of what all of this week is. It's not necessarily about selling, but it's you're selling, but you're getting the client's mind to click and say, yeah, I need that, versus saying, you need this. It's kind of subconscious selling, I guess, if you will. So in your emails, kind of restructuring those. And then on Wednesday, we talked about postcards. So staying in front of people, using snail mail, using even letters or handwritten cards to just stay in front of your customers and constantly be in front of them, and using them in a way to where you're not just blindly sending them, but targeting who you're actually sending them to so that they are more effective. And you're using your marketing dollars in an effective way. So today, we're going to wrap this up with this super simple one. And I feel like what I'm about to say might sound crazy to you because I am such an automated type person. I love to take things off my plate using automations so that I don't have to think about it and they just happen, right? But one of the most, I believe, effective things you can do is actually using this gadget right here. Picking up the phone and actually calling people. And it's not calling people to sell. We don't want to call to sell and jam stuff down their throat. Like, hey, this is Clay. You want that pond? Or, I talked to you last week. Are we doing your electrical work or whatever? Not being pushy, but really just calling to check in, calling to see how things are going. And this is super effective with existing clientele and people that you've worked with in the past. It's a complete outreach to just see how things are going. Hey, good morning, Ben. How are you? So using that phone and pick up the phone, talk to people, see how they're doing. and don't even bring up selling something to them. So a lot of times, and I know this is for me, and it may not be for all of you out there, a lot of times picking up the phone, and I know for me, I didn't like doing it. I am such an introverted person that I didn't want to pick up the phone. And I think most of it for me was I didn't want to hear what they had to say if it was a negative. So I just wanted to hear positive, and I didn't want to hear it. And I had to push myself to do this. And it wasn't picking up the phone when somebody would call and calling them back because they were interested in something. It was picking up the phone after that job or after maybe a year of us not working with somebody and just asking simple questions about them, about their life, about the job that we may have just done. Hey, good morning, Roy. So also, there's that fear of maybe, and I had this, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, of interrupting. For me, I know a phone call can be interrupting. It's interrupting me, the phone call is ringing, and you feel like you have to answer it. And I didn't want to put that on somebody else. I didn't want to call them and interrupt something that they're doing. But if people can't answer the phone, they're just not going to answer it, and I go to voicemail. And like I said, I talked about before, fear of rejection. I didn't want to hear the negatives. So if you're calling, most people aren't going to get annoyed because you're just calling them to say hi. They're really going to be surprised by it, especially by a company. Think about the last time you just got a random phone call from somebody you had work in your house or you hired to help you with something around your home. I can't think of a single time I had someone just call me to say, hey, how's everything going? How's this going? How's that going? Is what we did working? Is it fixed? A lot of times, businesses, if no news is good news. And while that can be the case because people are going to tell you when stuff goes wrong, it's still really nice to just get a random phone call from somebody who has worked with you, helped you in your home, helped you with anything really, to just see how things are going. Yeah, Ben, talk on the phone. Like, yeah, I don't know if I'm a boomer. I mean, come on. I know you give me a hard time because I'm old and gray here, buddy, but not quite boomer, man. And you like to talk too. I know you do, Ben. So why do these matter? Why does it make sense? Why even take the time to pick up the phone to just call somebody if you're not getting something out of it, right? So you're going to build amazing relationships. People are not going to forget that you called them and actually care. People are going to love it when you just call and ask how they're doing. Let's say you did a job for somebody and it's been 2 months and you haven't heard from them. Maybe you've communicated a little bit, but for you to just pick up the phone and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, how is ABC doing? How are you enjoying it? Tell me a little something fun about, what's been happening, or, if you've heard something about their life, to just bring that up. Like, hey, how is such and such doing? Like, people are going to remember that, and they're going to remember your company because of it. It humanizes you and it humanizes your business. And instead of being a transactional business, it turns it into, I don't even know what the other word would be. Instead of it being transactional, it's human. You're creating trust. And also when you call and have these conversations, the crazy thing about it is you have these conversations with these customers, and it's not going to happen all the time, but you might have this conversation and Mrs. Jones might say, hey, you know what? We've been thinking about doing A, B, and C, and they just haven't called you. But now it opens that door to help them in another way, to bring you back into their home and help them either solve a problem or add something else to their landscape, whatever it might be. It's going to open that door, and it just does it naturally. You don't have to ask. It's just going to happen naturally because they're going to say, hey, I've been thinking about this, and this. And I just haven't called you because I've been so busy, but you called me. I appreciate you giving me a call, and things are going to snowball from it. So it is 100% worth it, I think, to take the time to do that, to pick up the phone and call your customers. Just call them. If you've done work for them, give them a ring. And you don't have to do it all at once. So what does this look like, and who are you actually going to be calling? You can call past leads that may be dropped off. This can be a little bit, I think, harder because you're trying to re-spark something and not be salesy with it. So you really need to think about what you're going to say and how you're going to tee up a conversation like this, calling past leads, and not saying, hey, are you going to move forward with it? A good approach, though, would be to actually use your CRM as a reason, and just kind of say, hey, listen, my CRM keeps bugging me to call you. I haven't been wanting to do it. Kind of fall on it. Say, I haven't been wanting to bother you, but where might you be with, your project we talked about, 2 months ago? So just calling, picking up the phone, pass leads, and don't be pushy with it. I'm not a pushy person, and some people might argue with me that you have to push, 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 push. But I am a salesperson of the aspect of I'll provide you value, 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 and get your brain to think, hey, I need this, to give me a call. Past customers. This is a huge one. This is a super easy one. Past customers. Maybe you haven't done work for somebody in a year or maybe 2 years, to really just even pick up the phone and just say, hey, Mrs. Jones, it's been like 2 years since we've helped you with A, B, C, D, or whatever it might be. How's everything going with this? Is everything running smoothly? What's been happening? And just spark that conversation that way. Not even to try to get them to sign up for anything, but conversations, again, like we talked about, conversations are just going to happen and they're going to snowball when people pick up the phone. And then, of course, existing clients. I think from a customer experience standpoint, calling your existing clients, I think, is a non-negotiable. Calling your existing clients now, and if you have seasons, and here on the East Coast there's a huge seasonality of it in the wintertime, you have the time, your team has the time. Use the phone and call them to just see how everything's going for your existing clients. And I feel like this is a great time and one of the best times, and just call and say, what could we have done better? Get that feedback. Try and get the feedback that you really need, because we all know, and the phone is a great way to do it. We all know that you can't fix. If you don't know what's wrong, you can't fix it. So getting the feedback from your clients so you can fix what you know you need to fix is great. And again, it's going to spark conversations, and it's also going to click a switch in your customer's brain. It's like, I can't believe they actually took the time to call me. And you don't just do this in the wintertime. Like, if you are a service company and you're in a climate to where you have seasons and it's seasonal, if you will, don't just do this in the wintertime. Try to set time aside to call a couple people throughout the year just to see how they're doing. And you don't have to do them all at once, but set aside a time to do it. So a lot of times what happens, this is very time consuming. And in the wintertime, we have the time, and then once things start going, we don't have the time. And again, all three of these things that we've talked about, the email, the postcards, and now even phone calls, these tend to drop off when we start to get busy. So you need to set time aside to do this. And maybe it's just calling 1 or 2 a day. It takes 10 minutes. Unless you get on the phone with somebody who really likes to talk, then you could be on the phone for a really long time. But you're building relationships with your clients. And that experience, they're going to like you, and they're going to always come back and do business with you. So building those relationships, and really any business, I feel like it's about making money. It's about changing lives, the people that work with you, their lives, your lives, but it's also changing people's lives. And to have a 10, 15, maybe even 20-minute conversation with a customer it may not change their life, but it might turn their day around and make them smile that day. So I think for me, that is a win, to just know that I was able to maybe put a smile on somebody's face that day by just having a conversation. But by doing this, you don't want to call. In this particular case, this is not a sales pitch call. So don't turn it into a sales pitch. This particular mindset of a different kind of phone call, don't turn it into a sales pitch. A lot of times it drops off because we don't remember. We don't remind ourselves. We're not setting time aside to do this. And maybe we don't have notes on our clients. Maybe we can't remember, because you start to, if you don't know the client, or you need to have something that you can have a conversation with that client with. So you need to take good notes. You need to know what's going on in your company, and don't rely on your memory to try and do all of this. Set time aside, block time out every day, give yourself 20, 30 minutes a day to do it. And it will change your company, and it will bring in work. And you're not even trying to bring in the work, but it will. So calling people to just check in is not selling. It is caring and showing that you care about your customers. And people are going to remember about how you make them feel. And they're not going to really remember your offer or what you're offering them. But if you make them feel good, they're going to remember that, and they're going to remember you, and they're going to remember your company. With Ben, handwritten cards took us about 3 field days. It's about over 3 weeks because we underestimated. Doing handwritten cards is amazing. It's a great way to build those relationships. People love it, and most people just don't do that anymore. They're not sitting down handwriting cards anymore. But it does take time, and you need to do it over time. You can't sit down and just do it, because it is a lot of work, that's for sure. So, and recording and putting those notes in. You're right, Ben. It's amazing how much information you can get about people and remember just by taking notes and jotting them down, having an easy place to get them. So let's recap for the week. If you're not doing it already, start emailing people, use email marketing. If you're not doing it now, do it once a month. If you're doing it once a month, bump yourself up to once a week. Postcards. Get your lists together, who you want to send those to, and don't just send them once. Create some really cool postcards, just reminders, nothing crazy. Maybe a link to your website, something just to remind your existing clients you're there and you exist, so that they call you instead of calling somebody else. Again, it's repetition. They constantly see your name, both in email and postcards. And the last is making these phone calls. Spend the time, put some time aside, call your clients, be a human, and you start one of these or start all 3 of these. I really think you're going to see a difference in not only your repeat clients, but in the way people think about your company, and humanizing your company and building relationships with all your clients. So start making those phone calls. Maybe start doing it next week after the new year. Make some phone calls, set some time aside, and just do it. Use the phone. We all carry it around. If you're in the car, you can do it in the car. Set some time aside at the end of the day. Use that phone. So that's all I got. Use your phone. I'm going to start using my phone more too, because I stopped using it. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, truly appreciate it. And if you found value in this or in any of my other ones, please share it with your friends. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll talk to you all later. Before you go, if you want to learn more about what we're all about, head on over to kairocx.com. You can reach out to us there, or just dig in and learn more about how we can help businesses and help businesses like yours at Kairo CX. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Follow Through.